even our own region now is just
yeah.
doing different
That's
things
really
across
cool.
the board. So, but yeah, can't wait to see how that all turns out. Of course, teams from Southeast Asia, Thailand specifically, CIS, and it's going to be interesting all around the world here. That's what makes it great after all. So, anyways, back to this one here, though. We got Doctor, Deadwood, and Parasite. Things are looking pretty familiar here on Reason Gaming side. You got Kraken and Puppet Master on the side of Tree. But, yeah, they really love this Deadwood-Doctor combination of interest.
And, I mean, don't fix... I mean, if it ain't broken, don't fix it kind of thing. And Reason just play this sort of gank-oriented in the lineup just so well, creating so much space, like I said, for Imberboy, or Imberboy might be on the Doctor Repulsor, for example. It just all depends, but one knows whenever they play this sort of trio of sort of ganking heroes, they get so much work done around the map, and it does cause the enemy team to play differently, a bit more defensively. And whenever you put a team outside of the comfort zone, they're going to play a little bit differently and a little bit worse in that respect. I wonder if Tree. I don't think Tree do play Tundra, but I think Tundra would be maybe a decent pickup here against Reason in particular, because they have so much mobility and they have a lot of gank potential that Reason's used quite a lot. Obviously, they've got Parasite on the enemy team, so that could be a deterrent to picking up Tundra. But just in general, they need ways to deal with just the insane amount of gank potential that Reason just have as a team. They're always looking for kills.
Let me put a hero out there. Why not Monarch?
Yeah, man, Monarch could work as well. Definitely. Actually, Tree play a lot of Monarch as well. Fusen plays it a lot, and I think that would be a decent idea because they need ways to stop just all the ganks happening from Reason, because that's their style of play, and unless you play around that, it's going to be similar to what happened in Game 1. And I think actually Monarch would be a really good pick break, actually.
Yeah. Tundra, like you said, he's one of those heroes. If you're not comfortable playing it, then might not be the best option to pick it up, even if he has good value. But yeah, something like a Monarch, as you pointed out, Fusen has been playing it a little bit, perhaps, and that definitely seems like it could make sense here. Again, if you're looking for vision, the new Monarch provides plenty of that with the wars that she does. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see where Tree goes from here. The bands finishing up pretty much as far as the follow-up bands go. Cthulhu Font, Chipper, Accursed, Swiftblade, and Ravener. Again, people haven't been tuning into HON for a month or so. They'll be looking at the list like, wait, Accursed? What the hell's going on? Well, yeah, no, we have been seeing a little bit of Accursed popping up here and there. Tree is running it, as we even saw yesterday by Boxy, so... The carry Accursed is a real thing. We finally got to see its potential. And that was pretty fun. So, making sure that's not going to happen here. The final ban, though, from Tree. They're using a lot of extra time already. Jeez. Not going to have too much to get their final 2 picks here as a result of that. Ooh, Jereziah. Interesting.
Yeah. That hero's done a lot of work, particularly in Game 2 of the last series where Reason played Sync, to be fair.
Yeah.
So Reason, they're looking for a support, and most likely either a mid or another carry, sort of similar to what they had in Game 1. Supporters are on the board that they could pick up maybe Empath if they want to run that again. They could even try maybe use Monarch. Like we talked about Monarch obviously for Tree in terms of a defensive sense, but you can do the same thing with Monarch in an aggressive sense as well. You get a lot of vision, so you could find out those heroes, get those pickoffs with Reason. I don't know if Reason have been playing it a lot, so I couldn't really say if that's in their arsenal. But you can play Monarch in an aggressive sense as well, scouting out for those kills instead of looking out for the gankers kind of thing.
Yeah. Reason Gaming, they got a lot more extra time to kind of think things out here as far as what direction they want to go. Of course, they definitely still need a support option themselves, so obviously for an initial ban, or I could have very possibly seen that one. Not going to be happening here, though. Will they go maybe the Empath into another hard carry route once again? Again, very their lineup is it's already identical to the previous game. Now they technically could finish it off exactly the same as well if they really wanted to. So
I don't think they will. The reason being, not because obviously they did it last game, so why do you want to do it again? But the reason being is I'm pretty sure Tree will run a defensive trial in this game. They should pick up Empath though, so who knows, man. But I just think if they pick up like a hard carry, which it looks like Reason are going to do, they might be in a little situation where there's quite a lot of farm that needs to be spread around the heroes. And if Tree do a defensive trial, for example, and shut down either the Deadwood or whatever kind of suicide hero that they're going to put out there, the Reason draft could be very, very greedy and could be punished and capitalised from Tree, as long as obviously Tree have a decent laning stage. Because in the first game, the reason why it only worked so well is because Tree lost the laning phase so much that there was a lot of farm to be passed away for Reason. But this game, it might be a little bit different.
Yeah. It really is an option. I mean, a team gets the chance to even draft the 100% the same lineup, especially going into the final pick. Because, if anything, one would just, be banned with one of the banning stages, or the other team might pick up one of those heroes. But again, Rising Gaming has that opportunity here. But as you're pointing out, this time around might not be the clear and cut option, but something tells me, they might be along those lines of, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as you stated earlier. So it doesn't necessarily need to be Predator in the end, though, of course. It could be just another hard carry that maybe was a little bit different.
Pred isn't too good against Madman, because even if he gets the Venom and Sleep off, he's not going to be able to keep up with the Madman when he's stalked. And they pick up Defiley instead, so...
Interesting. Can't say I saw that one coming.
Neither did I. I know Reason have played it a little bit, to be fair. They're going to run Defiler mid, Suicide Deadwood, and short lane the Doctor Pulse with Empath. It's not too bad, this game. Obviously, it's okay against Madman, stopping from stalking and barrel rolling. Does decent against Kraken solo mid as well. And it's potentially tanky enough to survive an onslaught from Puppet Master as well. And man, that silence does so much work, but also it gives them ability to push as well with the Unholy Expulsion. So something that was a little bit lacking, they now have that. And my good old beautiful Silhouette, man.
Good old Silhouette coming out here for our Hellborn team, and that means we're going to see a secondary support Puppet Master. Pointed this out yesterday, the possibility being there, and sure enough, Willowkeeper are going to be the ones doing it. Again, it's an interesting role. Now, it's secondary support, too, on top of that. So, expect Ridazee usually manages some decent farming.
It's true, actually.
A hero, with a skill set, it seems like his support potential should be fairly strong. He has 2 ground controls in a sense. He's got good burst with his ultimate to assist for kills, and just a whiplash, even a solid farming tool and whatnot, or counter pushing, you could even say, something like that. So, I've always thought this hero has potential to be a support. I understand, though, why, he's just used as a carry more than others, but...
Obviously, if you play a support, the Whiplash isn't very good, obviously, at early levels, and he does sort of suffer a little bit in the laning phase as well, because he doesn't offer a lot of sort of damage before level 6, as you stated before. So he can be punished a little bit in lane, but if they run a defensive tri-lane, and obviously they're going to be against a Suicide, I think this could work quite nicely. And something that you mentioned quite a bit as well, is that Root of Sea does get quite a lot of farm when he plays secondary support. In general, and because of that, if he's going to get maybe 300 GPM, he can afford maybe like an Assassin's Shroud and can rotate and become somewhat of a second carry. So we'll have to sort of see how it would work. And in this game in particular as well, it's going to be quite useful in shutting down the Deadwood, but because of the CC, it's going to be quite useful with the Glaciers as well. Yeah,
I'm a little curious now about the Empath pickup, because again, as far as synergy goes with the lineup, it doesn't have any. She's a solid support. She is good at throwing a hero like Doctor or even a Deadwood, sure, but she's usually lined up, of course, with that hard carry, something like a Predator, as we saw last game. But they chose to go a little bit different with the Defiler, and again, the synergy's not really there with her. So
no, I agree with you totally. The one benefit of having Empath is that, for example, if she does want to sort of jump inside the Dr. Pulsar, then Dr. Pulsar can sort of TP to a lane. She can sort of tag along with the mobility from Dr. Pulsar that other supports just simply wouldn't be able the ability to do. So, for example, if Doctor's going to gank with someone, having another support, maybe like Glacier, Glaciers might not be able to actually assist in the ganks, because obviously it doesn't have the same mobility as Dr. Pulsar, but obviously in this case Empath can just jump inside Dr. Pulsar and have a free ride to whatever kind of gank they're going to go to. But I do agree with you totally, though. I think maybe another support could have been a little bit better, but still, the attack speed and the attack damage is still good regardless of what hero you put it on, but I still do agree with you, though.
You look at Puppet Master right here, is like, yeah, Deadwood, you're not going anywhere. This is a Deadwood, again, usually not necessarily the strongest suicide hero in the first place, but you throw him up against the tri-lane, there's no chance. And as you see right here, Zane's not even going to remotely put himself in that position to get caught out. He's already heading into his own jungle, even now against a little interesting, because they do have a Parasite, so I don't know what ultimately Zane expects to accomplish here. It's going to be a difficult time. He's going to go to the middle lane right off the bat. Rotten Grasp, ooh, just out of range. That was very close, actually. Wouldn't have been a kill, but
no, it wouldn't have been. No.
Some good damage at least, but yeah, in the end, misses it.
There's nothing that he can do top, really. The only thing that he might be able to do is maybe farm this yellow cannon and sort of stack and sort of just farm it there and protect runes, because this top lane is completely shut down from the supports from Tree. Whenever I see them run a defensive trial, and I've mentioned it before, but they just do it like clockwork, honestly, Breaky. They play it so well. They always stack out. They always box out the Suicide very well and get prepared for when the carry can rotate into the jungle, maybe level 7 or level 8. And at the moment, they're shutting down one player completely. decent. And I mean, this just sometimes goes back to maybe the draft as well. Like Deadwood doesn't do too much really unless he gets to level 6 and maybe the portal key as well. And for the meantime, I don't see him getting anything for the next couple of minutes anyway.
You mentioned that silence, and silence is a very strong tool on Defiant. It's going to be interesting to see how it impacts even a hero like Silhouette, who obviously relies heavily on being able to swap and whatnot, and being very mobile in that sense. So that silence could definitely screw her up quite a bit and cause issues. So you look at the Silhouette pickup. I mean, it's still, I think it's safe to say, strong pickup nonetheless, but could cause some issues there.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing to sort of lock down the Silhouette is ground targeted or AoE stuns or silences, because obviously she's always going to pick up the null stones. So any sort of targeted stuns like Andro stun or targeted silences, whatever they may be, they're going to get sort of nullified by the null stone. But obviously with Defilers being an AoE silence, it can stop Silhouette from sort of swapping out with the Shadow. So again, a good sort of synergy with. Or good counter pick in that respect.
Yeah.
Even though
I love what Zane's doing, man. He's just trying to be active wherever he can. He's at the bottom lane. He even has dust on him. Rotten Grasp. Oh, that was a good attempt. And it just so happened that Boxy was going in with the stock right there. So, unfortunately, just bad timing in the end. But Boxy, obviously, he knows now that Deadwood's somewhere nearby. Deadwood's coming back in, but no, Boxy's going to fall back. And that'll be the end of that. But yeah, this Deadwood, I mean, again, it's understandable that he's having trouble because of that top lane, but I don't know. It seems like he's almost going to be useless this game, especially compared to last game, which that's not good on the Deadwood. He's not your support hero that doesn't need levels, obviously. So,
and this is what I was sort of mentioning in the draft as well. It's a little bit greedy because Parasite is going to be AFK following the jungle. Doctor's going to take bottom, and Defiler's going to take mid. Someone's got to take the short straw. This is in the case of Deadwood, and he's not going to offer anything really. And there was one game where I think it was Mint versus Tree as well. They had the Drunken Master in a sort of similar situation where the Citizen got completely boxed out just because of how Tree run their defensive tri lanes. And I mean, I think Deadwood probably offers a little bit more than Drunken Master, even if he has little farm, because obviously his spells are quite useful and they don't scale with items.
Yeah.
But he still does need that portal key, and obviously still needs levels, and he's not going to get any of that for the next 5 minutes until this lane starts rotating top, or the Silhouette starts rotating into the jungle, which it looks like she's starting to rotate now, actually, which could be the time where maybe Deadwood might want to sort of try and leech XP for a little bit and see if he can get maybe level 2 or level 3 and go from there. But one thing that I rarely ever see teams do is, like, I was thinking about it the other day, but I don't know why teams never run like a pulling sort of suicide against Tree, for example, War Beast or Wild Soul, because if this is a Wild Soul or a War Beast, he'd be level 5 or level 4 by now, because he can just dictate the creep wave that the 2 supports from Tree won't be able to do anything to box him out, because what's happening now is that whenever he goes up to the lane, Glacius or Puppet Master is boxing him out, but if the War Beast, for example, brings the creep wave to him, then he's going to get free XP and gold. But with Deadwood, obviously, he's not able to do anything in that top lane.
That's very true, yeah. And Zane, he has history playing a hero like Keeper of the Forest, definitely, so the idea definitely is there, that could have been something, that could have been an option, but again, as you say, maybe a little bit greedy, but they've been able to get away with it somewhat, including the first game and everything, but different story this time around. Deadwood only level 2 currently. However, other lanes, including the bottom lane, definitely doing very well, as right now they're going to be pushing it in. I say very well lightly, actually. Dr. Pulse, only 300 gold per minute for kind of a free farming doctor. You may have expected that to be a little bit higher even, but still doing solid. Ryan Kraft, that is going to hit Man. Dust comes out, and Boxy going to fall victim right here to a bloodless kill. Parasite! Oh, wow. Parasite nearly died right there to the tower using that blood chalice, but he actually does stay alive in the end. Yeah, that would have been really unfortunate if that happened, but
if they didn't kill Madman in those couple of seconds, he would have died, because he wouldn't have got the health back using the blood. Because obviously when you use blood chalice and get a kill, then obviously you get their health back. But if he didn't do that, he could have actually died there. But yeah, nonetheless, good kill. And that obviously was set out from the rotten grass from Deadwood. So even though he's not getting anything in the top lane, he's still trying to find his make himself useful. And obviously they pushed the 2-1 tower bot.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting.
No,
Madman again is in trouble, and again he'll get pairs with 4 players here. Boxy is like, okay, now I'm going to be good. There's no way they're all still here. Well, they were all still there, so he ends up getting killed again.
So frustrating.
That's got to be.
And look at this though, like if you actually compare Boxy to Zane now, they've actually got very, very similar GPMs.
Yeah.
Of course, obviously Madman is 2 levels ahead, but to be fair, you know, Dead was 0, 0, and 2. And actually Kraken again.
Nice dodge in the rotten grasp. You see Defiler, she is level 6, has that unholy expulsion, or just easier way to say it, the ghosts, but of course it still even needs mana forward, and not going to use it until possibly pushing a tower and maybe a team fight takes place, obviously. So for the time being, just going to continue to farm away. Needs to be careful here, though. Torrent comes out. Madman is coming in and looking to try to get a kill. Barrel roll does connect, but is still out of range to pursue, and Defiler will be fine in the end. You know, that is a weakness of Defiler right there. Of course, no escape mechanism. She is very squishy in that sense, at least, especially if she can't activate her ultimate, so to kind of scare you off. But they're not able to chase her once again, and thus she's fine. Bottom tower goes down, though. Jeez.
Exactly, and that's because they rotated Madman over to try and set up a gate mid. It failed, and then because obviously Madman wasn't there, they just took the tier 2 tower. But one thing that is for certain, that I'm pretty sure Reason have almost got Tree down to a T in terms of their rotations and their timings, because at the moment, Silhouette's farming the jungle, so they know that she won't be able to TP over because she's going to be too low, and Puppet Master wants to sort of sit in this lane and soak up experience, so the only person that could really rotate over is the Glaciers, because Madman was mid, and they're not afraid of a level 3 Glaciers when the 4 is bottom. So again, just really smart play coming out from Reason, knowing exactly what they can get away with, and that's what they get away with 2 towers in the first 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, and that was without Defiler. Now Defiler's activating her ultimate. In fact, middle lane, Kraken gets caught as soon as he ports in right there, and Falcon Punch, and he's going to end up falling. That was not a Falcon Punch, excuse me. That was just a lot of burst damage coming out. Dr. Repulsor does get turned on in the process, and at least they get that, so a counter kill happens. But yeah, Kraken porting into death right there in a sense. Really unfortunate on his part, but yeah, Embry showing off the ghost right here, doing some good damage, and going to continue to push with it. It's going to be wearing off right there, but that's the cool thing about that unholy expulsion too, is, you know, obviously when it ends its time, it regens basically all of your life there, no matter, you know, so if you happen to be a little bit low after the push or whatnot, it'll burst you back up, and it's kind of interesting, you know, if you're being chased and whatnot. It's too bad you can't activate it. That would probably just make it OP, but at the same time, being able to heal up, and when they think they might have a kill on you, and all of a sudden you can turn things around. So, what is up
I
here?
do like... Ooh,
Empath running right into them.
Dead.
Oops.
I like what Reason are doing though. They're actually pressuring Tree before they're even ready to start taking team fights. Kraken needs Portal Key, Madman needs some kind of items, and Silhouette kind of needs Nullstone and Portal Key before she get involved. And Puppet Master's only level 6, but they're going to try and defend though.
That's Puppet Master, puts the show on to Dr. Repulsor, and again, just like last time, he gets taken out. Parasite though, he's going to be going for a kill on Puppet Master. Maybe? No, he does not think it's worth the risk. He would have gotten it, but yeah, it's probably what would have ended up falling himself, so definitely not worth that exchange right there, and ends up falling back as a result. And that'll be the end of that. So 9 minutes into this game, it remains a 3-3 hero kill game. So 2,700 goal lead for Reason, but it is a 2,700 experience lead for Tree, and that goes back to the fact that Reason has been doing a lot of clumping up here early on.
They've just traded farm for experience because Deadwood wasn't able to do anything. So they, instead of saying, look, let's just AFK farm, they said, we've got an extra player with us in terms of the lane because Deadwood's been not able to get anything top, so might as well start pushing lanes and start pushing towers. And Tree really haven't been able to re-defend these pushes because they don't have the items to do so. You know, they do need a couple of times to really get online, and Reason have really capitalised on that.
Yeah. See top lane, Deadwood level 3 still. So speaking of that lack of experience, he's definitely up there. He's going to try to get the stack here.
Yeah, this would be really big, but...
Yeah, it's not going to be able to do it, though. Just too much pressure going to start kicking in, and yeah, has to fall back. Bottom lane, is there any danger here? Dr. Repulsor pushing it in. Madman not going to be able to do too much by himself, at least. Going to put some decent damage out, but actually Doctor, he's like, I'll fight this. He has a ludicrous speed, of course. No dust on him or anything like that, though, so... Not going to be able to pursue for any kind of kill in the meantime. Defiler heading back towards bottom. Maybe, no, just... He's got the stat items early on. The Blood Shell, solid item on him, you know, especially for when he's spamming that Wave of Death, which is frequently. The Ghost Marchers, you know, definitely an interesting hero item on a hero that usually the idea is that you want to be somewhat tanky, but at the same time on a hero like Defiler, where he wants to keep up with people,
yeah,
it makes sense, yeah.
It's all about the mobility, because if he doesn't have the mobility, then the Ghost, for example, won't be able to hit or start taking anything out. They're actually going to start maybe pressuring these triple stack Ancients. Actually, this would be really big if they could take them, because Deadwood needs this just for the experience, and they're going to completely take away from Tree, and Tree, they're not really in a position to fight, as I stated before. No Portal Key on Kraken, no Nullstone on Silhouette. They are rotating over, but Most of the agents are already dead, but Reason are quite low, but
Yeah.
they're going to back off. But I think the damage is already done, though, to be honest. Only 2 Dragon Masters are there, and they've rotated 4 players over. This is honestly a really bad rotation from Tree and Reason. They're playing very, very solid right now, actually. Everything of their movements makes sense, it's logical, and they're just simply outmaneuvering Tree at this point.
Yeah, I keep looking back at this top lane. I see Puppet Master farming up there. Initially, I'm like, oh, Puppet Master just farmed.
My
But then
God.
I think to myself,
Silhouette.
it's actually Silhouette is picked off.
Wow.
That is big right there. Parasite able to do the job there. And, so that kind of goes back to what I was just talking about, though. It's actually middle lane now. We've seen an initiation on the Empath. They need to be careful, though, because Defiler's nearby. Silence is going to be a little late. Does not hit as a result, but no kill going to be coming as a result of that all. But yeah, Puppet Master farming this top lane, but again, this is a secondary support Puppet Master. Also, I was going to say, Silhouette not there, as you mentioned, it just was busy doing that rotation. Ends up even dying in the process, so not good news at all for Willowkeeper right now, as far as that's concerned.
And that's what I was saying as well. Like they try to rotate over, but they without Nullstone on Silhouette, she really offers so little to any kind of engagements that went on. Embrace just got a wave of death, 300 major damage, and then Parasite just came up, followed up with his burst and his combo, and Silhouette, she's only got 777 HP, and that's what happens when you start trying to take team fights or take engagements when you're just not ready or you're not farmed enough.
It's amazing to me that a team could have a level 4 Deadwood, but at the same time, they seem to be the ones in control. And again, a lot of that comes down to Parasite, especially 437 gold per minute. Near is 2-0-1 again, another successful game for him, and is showing here. I mean, he already has a level 1 puzzle box, even as we see in his inventory. As I'm trying to find out where the hell is he. I can't. God, I hate Parasite sometimes.
I think he's bottom.
Is he bottom down here?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Oh yeah, he's all the way down here. There we go. It is a level 1 puzzle box. There we go. As he comes out of it right there.
I'm wondering if Box is going to go for a recovery Alchemist Bones, actually. I think if there was a time to go for one, I think it would be here, because he hasn't had the greatest of time in the lane, and obviously he's playing against Parasite as well. And he can actually disjoint the Puzzle Box Mauler return damage with his barrel roll as well, if he's quick enough. Sort of similar to what Bubbles can do with the take cover. It'd be something that I'd like to see him do. And obviously the attack speed is obviously great on Madman, and I think he is going to be able to, or going to need him to start maybe pressuring for a late game sort of style of build as well. But yeah, we'll have to see.
Madman stalking away before things get too dangerous at that bottom side. What was I going to bring up here? I mean, you got Silhouette, of course. She has that Sustainer at least, so working towards the Nullstone here. Trying to get that ASAP. Saxstone picked up on Defiler. Top lane, Deadwood. Ron Grasp is going to miss right there, but Defiler is here. Puts out the Voodoo Puppet, but is like, yeah, good luck getting to that. She's going to put some damage. Puppet Master not enough, though, and now here comes Dr. Impulsor chasing out Silhouette. Silhouette's in a lot of trouble. She splits up, but it's not enough. She ends up going down. Release on Kraken comes out, but here's the Unholy Expulsion. You can expect the Hellborn team to start retreating very possibly. However, the Glacial Downpour doing some good damage with that set, but the Wave of Death comes out, and all of a sudden the Hellborn team just falls to pieces. Port in from Madman, but he got there way too late, not going to be able to have much impact in the end. So we see the final result. I mean, really, Dr. Pulsar dying, but obviously 3 players dying on the Hellborn side. Region Gaming coming up big time on top of that fight.
Yeah, definitely. And again, though, you're just seeing the weakness of Silhouette without the farmer, without kind of the time she needs to get up these items. She's really offering so little to any of these engagements, and I think Reason are really understanding that and saying, look, let's group up, let's try and take team fights, because we kind of have the items that we want to go with. Defiler is quite useful early on with just the core items she's got, but Nullstone hasn't been picked up in Silhouette yet, and neither has the Portal Key, and without those kind of finesse items, she isn't able to really have the elusivity what is needed in these team fights. And again, Breaky, that Grave Silence is doing a lot of work as well. She wasn't able to tree grapple away from a lot of the damage, and she is suffering definitely in this matchup.
I think you could also criticize Baltasar a little bit right there. He did not have the illusion going into that fight started. Usually you'll see them spawn it beforehand, put it in a safe spot, but he tried to panic, use it during it. Maybe he didn't expect it to be that crazy. Sure is fine, but yeah, usually it would. I can guarantee you going into another fight, that's probably going to be the plan here, and he'll very possibly have that ready to go. But
I mean, I can understand that he might not want to have it backed out, because obviously when you use the the shadow, you do dispel all of the states on yourself, so you can actually take off the silence from Defiler. But at the same time, I can understand of him having it out.
True.
But it's because, for example, if he has the illusion or the shadow outside of the team fight, he can't even swap to it if he's silenced. Whereas if he uses it inside of the team fight, he can dispel the silence from Defiler.
Yeah.
But the silence is only level or rank 1, so it's only 3 seconds silence. So maybe it's
Well, yeah. Hold on. You're able to use the ultimate even while silenced?
No, of course not. What the F am I talking? Sorry, Reggie. I'm like, I get to the point. Oh yeah, dispels all spells on itself. And I was like, oh wait a minute.
Well, I had to think about that for a second because I've done that before with like the idea of a Geometer's Bane.
Yeah.
And you like think to yourself, oh yeah, no, just dispel the Hellfire. Oh wait, that doesn't make any sense. The silences item. So
talking of that though, he will go Geos this game probably after the portal key. Obviously,
yeah.
Go no stone portal key into Geos because he'll obviously need that. Yeah, apologies.
That will remove the silence. And that's the idea there. Actually, pours to his illusion right here, and again, going to continue to farm elsewhere. So, yeah, you can see already, definitely keeping that illusion out for the time being and making the use of that. Of course, that's what ultimately makes the strength of the hero. I think is very, very safe to say. 2,300 gold saved up on Defiler now, though. Obviously, pulling up quite a bit, 2,500 even. Alchemist Bones, I believe I just saw purchased.
Yep.
On Madman. So there we go. Again, this is an item that got buffed and now instantly kills rather than having that travel time. So like this Parasite here with the puzzle box especially. That's a very, very good pickup here. In fact, going to use it right off the bat to take out the Ballista even. And Parasite going to fall. So perfect use of it right there. Ooh, nearly dies actually, but no, he's fine.
Yeah, so I thought that's what he was going to go for, and he does pick up there. And now it gives him obviously way still with the Parasite, but also gives him way back into this game as well, because he was having quite a hard time in the lane. But expect that to eventually increase his GPM over time, and I think that's the sort of style of play that Tree want to go. They don't want to take these early engages. They're probably going to give up every single tower except for the base towers, obviously, and just sort of split push until they have to start defending towers and defending their base. But obviously, with the Defiler in the mix as well, it's quite hard to sort of counter push. Like, they've only got Glacius as sort of counter push, and maybe Madman if he does want to defend, whilst they start split pushing off the map with maybe Kraken and Silhouette, because obviously Defiler pushes so damn quick, obviously with the Unholy Expulsion. But I think that's the plan that Tree will have to do, because they can't take these early engagements unless they have all the items they need, and they're quite far away from those items. So.
Top side, you got Madman already setting up to defend it here. You see, going to do enough to kind of scare them off, at least initially. The Legion team hanging around and going to see if he pushes up at least a little bit, but that's not going to be the case. You got Deadwood. Holy crap, man. Zane is some way, somehow. I mean, he's got a portal key, he's level 7. Yeah, he's 2-0-3. That's very good. He's played really smart as well. Like, sometimes you might see inexperienced suicides. Like, they're against a defensive trial and they might get a little bit greedy, try and get some XP, but then get picked off time and time again. But Zane's played absolutely perfectly. He's dealt and done with what he needed to do. Like, he roamed at level 1 even for the first 5 minutes, because that's all he could really do, and now he's just played patient and got that portal key. Even though he's 200 GPM, he's got kind of all the core items he needs now because he's got that portal key. Here comes that top push now onto the tower. You see near on the Voltroid is actually tanking the tower damage initially. He comes out though and spawns the puzzle box, and looks like it's going to be a free secondary tower kill. Now, the Hellborn team is pushing elsewhere. They pushed the bot in, but that was the first tower, and the Legion team going to keep going. That was even without the ghost from Defy. She's going to pop them right here and just watch this tower start melting away. So, yeah, this Hellborn team, they need to start putting up a defense now. If Vulnerability comes out, as expected, Kraken in the vicinity, he has his portal key, so he's ready to jump in if he finds that opportunity. Empath is inside Defiler. Now, Defiler does have that Storm Spirit, and again, that's that very good synergy right there. Able to Storm Spirit while the ghosts still do plenty of damage. It's a very, very, very strong tool on her. So understandable why they picked it up. Alchemist Bones used on a Parasite right there to get him out, but they got the tower kill. They get the melee racks to half life, and it's going to start regenning though, but still, very slow regen, of course. And in the end, the Legion team will fall back, so not much, I guess, Tree could have done there, but at the same time, that was a lot of damage down at 20 minutes into the game already.
I think they wanted to get the portal key on Silhouette, and she just got it by getting the tower mid. And I think if Reason do try and start maybe pushing up the top lane, Tree will be ready to fight now because they've got kind of mostly all the core items they need. Obviously, they might want to get Shrunkens on maybe Madman and Kraken and maybe the Geos and Silhouette, as I mentioned before. But for the most part, they've kind of got all the core items they can and do need if they want to start taking team fights now.
Yeah. Ooh, we've got the Veiled Rock Yank, the classic tree Veiled Rock Yank. Again, they did this plenty against Dawn and really showed its true power, especially against them. They've been, it seems like, the most active team with it, using it so far now. This is the second cycle it's been eligible for. Not able to get anything with it here, though, unfortunately. As you see on the Legion side, they're all in their Ancients and over here on the other side of the map. But in the middle lane, that's a fake silhouette now, right? I believe? No, is that the real one? No, that's a fake one.
Yeah, fake.
Especially with the null stuff. God, I hate this hero. Anyways, there's initiation right there. Kraken goes in. They jumped up. Father Wrath bad. He couldn't even Star Spear. What an initiation right here. 4 Willow keeping Dr. Pulsar goes down. The Willowmaker onto Boxy right there. He ends up falling, actually. Parasite's doing plenty of damage here with the puzzle box. And guess what? Defiler bought back. Silence does hit Silhouette.
Oh,
it did not catch Dead or Kraken, though. And he's able to portal Q away right there.
That's really big though, because not only do they force the bar back from Defiler, they made him use the ulti. Now it's like a minute and a half cooldown, so Tree aren't even worried that Reason are going to start pushing now, because they have to. I mean, Reason have to start pushing, or they can only start pushing it obviously if the Unholy Expulsion's up. But as they sort of bait it out there, Tree have at least another minute sort of breathing room to maybe start farming up.
Yeah. Man, that was quite the burst onto the Father right off the bat, and obviously, if you're able to lock him down before he gets Storm Spirit, then that can definitely happen for you. And that's why Defiler, again, going back to his usual, the tendency that they'll build is more of the beefy style. He got the sacks down against Storm Spirit in a sense, is for that as well, but going to be looking for more along those lines, I'm sure. Really trying to beef up here.
I mean, and that's the problem with Defiler. I mean, I've played a lot of Defiler quite recently, actually, and that's the issue I have with him, because you have to go Storm Spirit as well as the Ghost March, just because you need that movement speed, because otherwise you'll just be too slow to really be an impactful and a hero useful in the team fights. But at the same time, if you do go this sort of glass cannon build and sort of race car build, you'll be so squishy, as you can see there. And if he goes maybe straight into Icon, then he won't have that Storm Spirit that is so desperately needed, not only for the mana regeneration, but also for the ability to sort of survive in team fights as well. So he's just one of those heroes that you kind of need a lot of farm on him, but once you get a lot of farm on him as well, he can fall off in the late stage of the game. But they're making good use of him here, but he still is quite squishy, as we've seen in the last team fight. But Unholy Expulsion is up, though, and this is the time for Reed to start pushing now.
And it is, and at the top lane, they're going to push it in pretty aggressively. Once again, the tower is obviously already missing. The melee racks is still even missing some life. It obviously very slow regen, especially compared to the range racks, and it's working its way up. But at this rate, it looks like Reason's going to be able to make that push. You mentioned the Unholy Expulsion wasn't cooldown from earlier, but not anymore. He's going to pop it right there, right off the back. Kraken jumps in them again. Defiler lockdown. Again, Defiler falls right off the back. Glacial Downpour comes out. Dr. Pulsar, they're going to need a lot of work from him, but they're not going to get it. Kraken with a beautiful charge, and the Legion team going to need to go in full retreat mode right here. They do kill 2 and Puppet Master Glacius, but those are the supports, remember. And now Parasite's also going to get picked off. So it's once again safe to say Tree comes out on top. And now they're picking up some good momentum here. Double tap for Balthazar to also finish that off. And Silhouette, she's starting to get to a dangerous mark here with the farm she's picking up all of a sudden.
Yeah, just again, great prioritization from Tree. Knew exactly who they had to burst down. And again, it's exactly what we were talking about, Breaky. With the items that Defiler's got, she is incredibly squishy, but it's kind of the items that she has to go as well. And but she just doesn't have enough farm to really be relevant in these team fights. And I'm saying she doesn't have enough farm, but she's got 420 GPM. She is like the highest farmer on Reason. I think this is just the issue with Defiler in itself. You have to have these certain items to be useful in the team fights, but the time when you do get these started to get these items, you've already falling off because you don't scale well into the late game. And looks like he's going to go for a stronger head here, but I don't know if that's going to really be able to be too useful against the Kraken ultimate and the good burst potential that they have. Top lane though, Silhouette.
Yeah, they're going to jump on a Silhouette. Is that the fake one now? Nope, it's a real one. Yay! Balthazar does go down right there. Zane gets credit for the kill, able to lock him down, and did not have an illusion up at that time. So I mean, that does go back, though, too. He had the cooldown up, I'm pretty sure. Just choosing not to spawn the illusion. I don't know if he would have been able to use it, but I feel like it's safe practice always, if anything.
Well, you can definitely use it, because what would happen if, for example, if he did have the Shadow back in the jungle, for example, Rotten Grass comes out, he instantly swaps back to his illusions. But in that case, he couldn't use the Tree Grapple, obviously, because he's immobilized from the Rotten Grass, and then they would instantly followed up with the Portal Key Willowmaker, and then obviously the opposite charges. But if he had the illusion out, he can just swap out just from the rotting grass before obviously the Widowmaker comes out. And again, just not playing safe enough, honestly.
He's not new to the hero either. I mean, this is a hero Balthazar has definitely played before and he's somewhat comfortable with. So, yeah, very interesting to see the fact that he's not, you know, as I go back to, especially when they had someone like Flensmatch for Sync, I say it's sometimes, abusing the hero in that sense. And I don't mean that in a bad way, just doing it, what you should be doing to try to pick up the win ultimately. And that's just abusing his ultimate, just constantly having that up to be able to port to, especially in cases where you're pushing lanes like he was right there by himself. So, yeah, not really being the safest right there, but you hope for his sake that he does do that now throughout this game here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he just thought that they wouldn't really rotate or try and defend a tier 1 tower top, but he was clearly wrong. So
that he was. Middle lane? No action just yet. Hasted Defiler. So yeah, you talked about the shrunken head pickup on, or the idea here on Defiler, and yeah, I can see where you're coming from, because there's a lot of physical presence here, and that seems like that's what's been bursting him down here.
Exactly. There's a lot of physical presence, but also, obviously, even when he gets the shrunken head, the release the Kraken's still going to go through that, and if they can get the jump and the initiation on Defiler, which they have been doing before he gets the shrunken head, it's going to offer absolutely nothing. He doesn't have a lot of HP, so unless he uses the shrunken head preemptively, which is very, very hard to do, seeing as they've got a lot of initiation here from Tree, then that shrunken head's not going to be even used in the team fight. It's actually middle lane.
Parasite's in trouble again, and he does go down right there. He did not have his infest up, and obviously got found by Willowkeeper, so yeah, gets caught out, and what momentum recent gaming had earlier on in this game has just completely gone away. It's all Tree now. Again, similar to against Dawn. The first game they got dominated, frankly, just like they did in this series against Reason, but different story in the follow-up game. Pretty action-packed here, and clearly doing enough, at least so far. Look at this build on Puppet Master, by the way. He actually gets a Storm Spirit himself now. On top of the team. Again, I keep it to remind myself, and I'm sure the viewers out there, this is a secondary support Puppet Master. Not usually seen, more the carry route usually, but again, being played as a secondary support here. So it kind of makes sense with that item build as a result. Although you could argue, I think Tablet might have been more efficient at least before, but Storm Spirit's not bad either.
I don't know. I think actually Storm Spirit is a little bit better than the Tablet. The reason being is because if, for example, there were jumps in Portal Keys and Willowmakers instantly in the follow-up from the Doctor Repulsor, regardless of what Tablet is going to move into what position, Doctor Repulsor will still be able to follow up because of his ludicrous speed and his mobility, but Storm Spirit will be able to completely negate that.
Yeah. Oh, and the dust revelation drops as they pick up the courier, so that's a Kongor kill, and I'm guessing, yeah, of course, Silhouette picks it up right here. Middle lane, they have Veiled Rot trying to find a jump, but she gets away just in time and not going to be able to jump her as a result of that. So now not only do you have already a very mobile and sneaky, slippery even Silhouette hero that's getting some very good farm here, but if you happen to pick her off and kill her, she'll just come right back with that token of life. So life is continuing to be pretty difficult here for Reason Gaming. Now, Dr. Repulsor is getting close to the Hellflower, and, and one of those items that obviously can be very good against a hero like Silhouette, especially since Doctor does have a way to remove the Null Stone just prior. Granted, it is his crowd control ability, so that's where it's a little bit awkward, but still worth it to apply that Hellflower debuff. Of course, things like the log as well from Deadwood, it can be impactful to remove it on top of that. But yeah, I keep looking back at this shrunken head though, and it's almost like he's just building to, well, it's not going to really do you a whole lot in the end. I mean, yes, it will prevent some crowd control, especially for the likes of like a Puppet Master and his CC, which is strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps going back to you though. Like you pointed out, the release of Kraken will still hit and stun, and you still have a lot of physical damage kicking in. So.
And I think the biggest thing is that I don't think he's even going to use the Shrunken Head, though, in time, because as long as Tree have good initiation and good execution in these team fights, he should be able to be bursted down from full to nothing without him using the Shrunken Head. For example, if they use an instant charge into releasing the Kraken and then maybe follow up with a stun from Silhouette, he's going to die without even using the Shrunken Head. Whereas if he feels like an Icon, he might be able to withstand that. Or bottom lane, though,
what's going on? Oh, yeah, the bottom rune area. Madman's able to get away with his own Shrunken Head, and that makes sense on him, of course, and able to screw it on out of there, because in the meantime, too, his team is pushing the top lane. Glacius even putting a very aggressive ward there. You see Defiant throw out a silence. She knew something was up, but they're just going to give up this top tower, because, again, they just do not feel comfortable right now fighting. If anything, they're going to fight at their base and want to get their next tier of items, but Okay, Silhouette is going to be porting back here, and everyone going to be retreating apparently. So, Reason Gaming thought that they were going to have a push coming in, so they retreated back to their base, but actually True has already fallen back. It seemed like at that point, not too interested. Going all out just yet. How much longer is the token up for? 2.5 minutes here, so she actually ports bottom. We'll see where they end up trying to push here. She does have her illusion middle lane, so I wouldn't be surprised if she swaps to it. Is that the real one now? It is. Okay, yeah, it's real.
I mean, I don't think Tree even needs to sort of force the issue, though. Like I said, they've gone sort of this late-game style of build. Obviously, Madman picked up the Alchemist Bones. They've got Silhouette and Kraken that scale well into the late game, and so does Puppet. Like, they've got a secondary support that is classed as a hard carry kind of thing. So I don't think they've got any issues really going into the late game. Because Defiler, like I said before, sort of scales off and doesn't offer too much in the late game. So that likewise goes with Deadwood and Parasite. Obviously, Dr. Pulsar is decent, but against all the heroes from Tree, I think they should be fine.
The father is just about there to picking up the Shrunken Head, so it goes back to the idea that, it's going to be interesting to see if it really has the impact he's hoping for, but he will at least have it, so we'll see what impact it does have. Hellflower is finished on Dr. Pulsar. This is probably a better time than any that Reason Gaming's going to have right here to try to defend, so we'll see how they're ultimately able to play this out. Parasite, it is a level 3 puzzle. So yeah, it's been a level 3. It also has a Soul's Bulwark here. Okay, actually, Tree's not going to overcommit here. They're going to start falling back themselves. In fact, Doctor's still pushing top lane even. So Tree is not feeling too comfortable as far as pushing in just yet.
Yeah, they don't have to, like I said before. Like, there's no need to sort of rush things and make it worse. They're in a good position now, and I think it's only going to get better as well as time goes on. So they're not in any real position to sort of start going high ground. They might try and take the tier 2 tower, but going high ground is just an unnecessary risk.
Yeah. Don't want to take that risk, so they fall back. I mean, Silhouette has another 2,300 gold saved up, and she's at that spot now of a heavy damage item, something like a Savage Mace. Could be very possible here for her, so she actually pours to the bottom lane with her illusion, as it looks like there is a possible fight kicking in. You got the Veiled Rot, a couple of heroes here on the side of Reason, so Tree needs to be a little careful to think that there's only a couple of heroes here when really everybody's here.
This is quite bad, though, because I don't think they're going to be able to get the jump on Defiler, because Defiler's not going up high ground here. It's Tree pushing in, not Defiler pushing in on them, but nonetheless, they can just take the tier 2 tower. I don't think Reason want to fight outside the base, because, like I said, it's just a positioning thing. But like the reason why the last couple of team fights have worked so well for Tree is because Defiler is the one going up, up high ground, pushing himself up, starting to seize the base, and it gives Tree such an easy time to sort of burst them down. But when Tree start taking a team fight and they start pushing up high ground, Defiler can easily use the Shrunken Head beforehand and then go from there, which I think is the biggest difference. Tree, when they're pushing in, it's hard for them to get the initiation, where the Reason they have the ability to initiate on them.
Yeah. Alright, so yeah, token sure enough does die off there. Not the biggest deal in the world for Tree, though. They'll gladly sit back and continue to farm some more. Because again, you're focusing a lot on the Silhouette, but you look at Madman, 453 gold per minute. Boxy, Brutalize her Alchemist Bones, Shrunken Head, and already another 2,000 plus gold himself, too. So Wilson now, he stocked just before the silence hit. It is still on him, though. He's going to pop the Shrunken Head coming out. The Mauler explodes, doing some good damage right there. But Dr. Pulsar comes in on a Kraken. Kraken going to fall right there. Glacial Downpour in the background. Silhouette putting in some good auto attack damage. But Defiler, she's got the Shrunken Head, and the Unholy Expulsion is activated. Silhouette ports out right before the silence hit. That was good timing on her part. And now Madman's going to try to make the getaway out of there. So you see the ghosts flying around, but not doing a whole lot of damage as they are away currently. Madman, he's stalking back in. Puppet Master jumped in. She goes down. But Kraken with the initiation now release Kraken. Lockdown Doctor. Doctor goes down. Empath's going to be picked up. And it's all of a sudden just Parasite alone. And he falls too. A genocide for Willowkeeper right there. And all it took was a Kraken buyback to do it all.
Absolutely great Kraken buyback as well. And Reason, actually, that team fight was looking so good for them because the initiation was there on their part. Shrunken Head was popped before Defiler was bursted down, but after Shrunken Head was taken down and Kraken brought back, they reinitiated and got the perfect team fight, and Reason were on the back foot after that. And just a definite worthwhile buyback there coming out from Kraken.
Now here goes Silhouette pushing the bottom lane in. 5,000 gold saved up on him. 4,000 gold. There's a ridiculous amount of gold being pulled up on this Homeworld side as a whole. Doing some quick math right here, if I'm correct. Nearly 11,000 or so gold saved up as a team right now on Willowkeeper. Don't need to spend it just yet. They're going to be pushing in. Defiler, she does buy back and going to try to scare them off, but not doing that just yet. But it is going to be enough to ultimately get them to fall back. So they will save their tower. But like I was saying, with all that gold being pulled up, yeah, we're already seeing it impacting. Hellflower right-clicked on Madman right here.
Yeah,
Really
really
nice.
nice.
Going to have that Savage Mace or something else soon, too.
Yeah, really nice pick up there from Boxer with the Hellflower. First of all, it completely eliminates all mana issues that he's going to have, and secondly, it's going to cause a lot of issues for Dr. Repulsor because he hasn't got his Shrunken Head yet, and he was having a lot of mobility in the last team fight there. But with the Hellflower, he's going to get completely locked down until he gets a Shrunken Head, and he's quite far away from it. He's only got the Mighty Blade himself. And Tree, they're going to maybe try and take Token or Congo before that, or at least try and take a team fight. And Deadwood, oh my god,
that's dangerous right there. Pops the Shrunken Head right away. Deadwood, Hellflower comes out. I think he might have been trying for a Willowmaker, but Hellflower prevents that from happening. He ends up going down. Silhouette jumps in. Now she is silenced because of Defiler right there. Empath jumps inside Defiler, says, "Let's get out of here, bro," and he will oblige. So. Good getaway in the end coming out from Recent Gaming as far as minimal casualties right there. Obviously did lose Deadwood in the process, though. I was going to say, as strong as the potential of Defiler's silence is, with the radius and the duration and everything being 6 seconds and that 900 or 400 radius, I guess, it's in practice in an actual game, it seems like it is hard to use effectively with that second. I think the cast time is the biggest thing. It does take a little bit to cast and eventually hit, but then also, in the heat of the moment, really trying to hit it in the most impactful spot at the perfect time.
Yeah,
so.
And not only that, there's a lot of ways around it as well. Obviously, you've got 2 Shrunken Heads now on Kraken, Geo's now on Silhouette, and obviously you have sort of the pseudo counter to obviously with the Storm Spirit on Puppet Master as well. So in theory or in practice, the Grave Silence isn't really doing too much. And again, just going back to sort of the issue of Defiler in itself, like the hero was like the last couple of team fights in the first 20 minutes was absolutely dominating because that's sort of the peak that the hero hits. But when it gets into the mid game where she needs to get a bit more tanky, otherwise she's going to get bursted down. Like she just doesn't offer too much because she's scaled quite off into the late game. Actually, Deadwood
jumps Glacier, so that's a free kill, but will this come at a cost? It's the question. Madman pops the Shrunken. That's got to be like his 5th use of that Shrunken, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's going to be down to 6 seconds now, so I guess only 4 uses here, but is able to get away, so it does not come at a cost is the answer there for the Legion team. So nice quick pick coming out from Deadwood again, saying for a situation he was in and just completely struggling because of being that suicide. Deadwood did a great job just staying alive and at least getting the portal key and eventually the ultimate. Has made some big plays here for the team, but able to still get a quick pick on a hero like Glacius. Maybe not much else, but wow, look at Silhouette though. 2,700 life now with that Frosted Skull here.
Yeah, she ain't gonna get bursted down from Deadwood.
Yeah, that's not happening. Now, that would be a bad target to jump, I think it's safe to say. Look at this Veiled Rock Ink though. Or so just trying to get in here away or go through the water side. That's exactly what they're doing. They're going to catch the Father. There goes the Hellflower. She's once again getting bursted down right here. Didn't stand a chance. She has not been able to use that Storm Spirit, I don't think, once. I do not think she's used the Storm Spirit once this whole game. Or the Shrunken Head, really. Parasite, he goes in just trying to survive right here. That's not going to happen, though. The Frosted Skull going to be too much of a slow. Double tap for Root of Z. Yeah, I mean, the idea... I mean, Shrunken is... But even a Storm Spirit, it is considered decent synergy, but... If you're just getting bursted and locked down, it's like, what good is it doing in the end?
And the pool kill on Puppet Master is actually doing a lot of work as well. It has that, the follow-up in terms of initiation, obviously. Hellflower first with Madman. Actually, they're going back in on Dr. Repulsor.
The wrong side. It's enough to initially get away, but maybe not in the long run. He tries to use it again right there. Yeah, he's out of mana.
That's game. I think that's pretty much game.
That's probably game.
It's like Empath going to drop as well.
Yeah, they pick her off too, so... I think Game 3 is on the horizon here. Willowkeeper, a very, very strong fight back here in Game 2. And
definitely. I have to admit, Root of Z has done a lot of work on the Puppet Master, but again, just going back to with Defiler, like, I love the hero, but it needs too much farm, and once you get that farm, like, the game's late in the late stage of the game, and the hero doesn't offer too much in the late game. It needs just too much too early, and it's not really viable, I don't think.
Yeah, the idea of definitely getting a Storm Spirit on a support, perhaps, and just trying to bulk her up makes a little more sense too, arguably. But yeah, just well played by Tree. I mean, we obviously have a fight going off right here, as I say that. Silhouette, she's going to get locked down. Silhouette may fall. Tree grapple, she will. So at least they get a pick off a Silhouette, and Tree's making a point. Here we are sitting acting like the game's over, and well, it's not over just yet. It says Tree at least, and they're going to prevent from making it happen, as they're going to go all in here with that said. You see, they're just grouped up middle. Yeah, they have zero they might as well concede that they're not going to do this. So they're just going to group up middle and try to make something happen. But now they're kind of falling back, or they're going to wait for the minor creep wave here. But
yeah, they used the buyback on Doctor Repulsor, and obviously most of Tree were kind of half HP, half mana without always, so that's why the team fight was okay for Reason, and they only killed Silhouette anyway, who does have a buyback, so and they might even try and use it here. Actually, yeah, they're going to use it.
Uh-oh, Dr. Repulsor, no chance to even move. I feel like we've been saying that a lot this game, between the Hellfire and just all the lockdown in general. It's just too much. You see Defiler, she is going to point out successfully, but once again, way too much damage overall, and crowd control coming out on the side of Tree. And another cleanup coming out for them. So perhaps Reason just in the spot of just talking it over now. Thinking about what maybe the next game holds. But clearly this is going to be probably a victory for Tree. I know it hasn't given up just yet, but there we go. There's something to concede. GG, well played. So Tree does take it, and, well, hey, that's good for us, because that means we're getting game number 3 to see which of these two teams deserves and will move on to play Sync Esports in the Grand Finals, who's sitting there comfortably waiting to see which opponent they're going to face here. That's going to be a fun Game 3 coming up here. Reason taking the first one, Tree takes a second one. Who's going to take Game 3? Well, I don't know, but this starting with the initial bans, as usual, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun, man.
Definitely. Yeah, and I mean, Reason had a good strategy in mind, and they were close to taking it as well. They were, I think, the biggest or the turning point in that game was the top lane team fight, where Reason was so close to taking the racks. I think it might have been like 25 minutes, but Tree just picked up the Portal Key on Kraken and Silhouette, and they won that team fight by bursting down the Defiler. And when after that happened, Reason weren't really threatening for Rex, and so Tree could continue farming, and Tree had the better late game, and c'est la vie. Rest was history really after that.
I can't wait to see what happens at game